Yo, welcome to the journalistdj.com. Next to me I've got Sol Phenduka. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. What's going on?
Hey, man, I'm good. I'm good, man. You're the Mr. What do they call you? The minister of punchlines. These days, because
No,
you're
I heard
always
that.
you're always on the podcast with McG, and you guys are killing it. And today we here, for the screening that you guys are doing with Channel O. First of all, I want to know, man, when you started with the podcast, did you like think that it would be this big as it is today?
Yeah.
Really?
To be honest, yeah. Because why do you work on something then if you don't envisage it to become something big? Eh, you just think it's gonna just be like a back room or podcast or whatever. No, like I think it can be bigger, God willing. But the vision is always for it to grow. I didn't think it would be this quick, rather, right? But I knew that if we do it right, it can grow and become something big and hopefully international. So I'd say, yeah, I'd be lying if I said no, because then you can ask me as a follow up question. Then, oh, then where did you see it ending up, right?
Yeah, I was
Then
gonna
I
ask
can't.
that.
Then I
Yeah.
can't say. Then I can't say. I just thought, gee, we were just doing it, gee. You know what I mean? Especially because of I'm from a broadcast background. Mac is from a broadcast background. At that time, he wasn't doing anything but the podcast. I wasn't doing anything in the broadcasting space. So it's not like it was just a hobby, right? In a sense, it's like, yo, this is what we are good at doing. This is what we love doing, and this is what we want to do for a living. And in order to think like that, you need to think of it as something that can grow and eventually feed you. So, yeah, I think I knew that it would grow. I just didn't think at this rapid rate.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel like, the chemistry is so dope that it must be scripted. Like, can you tell me about, like, the process of when you guys, do these shows, and especially from you, your punchlines. It sounds like you sit down with your notebook somewhere and be like, okay, cool. I'm gonna ask them this question. I'm gonna say this then. So can you tell me a bit about that, man? Is it natural? Does it come naturally, or do you kind of like plan?
No, I don't plan, bro. But ish, this whole punchline thing, there's more to me than punchlines, though. But if you want to talk about that, no. I mean, I think if you're a chiller and you watch the show, there are a lot of things that you we say and we branch off into different subjects and topics. There's no ways it could have been scripted, because either it is random, on the spot, off the bat, or it's super, 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 super scripted, right? And then how long do we take to prepare for a show? And if it's scripted, then we need to now script the tangents when we go off on the tangent, the off ramps, right? The detours. We need to script that too, and you can't script that. There's many examples, man. I just can't think of these things because they're not scripted. They just come where you know that no ways this conversation, no ways this conversation. I mean, how could it be? How could it have been planned, right? Yeah, because some things, come on, bro, it's evidence. It's evidence. So no, man, it's not planned. Yeah, it's something that happens, and fortunately, it keeps happening because that's just who I am, how I've been since high school, since forever. It's just who I am. So yeah, nothing scripted.
Hence, you're in the game, man. I mean, I have to ask because I mean these are the things that keep popping up. People on social media. Uh,
Yes, yes.
yeah, people always ask these things. But, I don't know if a lot of people are aware. I mean, I know you recently said on the podcast that, Meg G took you out of retirement and, you're playing, a DJ. Remember you dropped like a super dope travel song. Was it 2009, 10? Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, like tell me about, Saul, the DJ or the producer. Is he making a comeback?
Yeah, definitely. Dropping a tune in my birthday month, which is Feb. Yeah, music is something that's very dear and close to me. I've been making music since high school, man.
Mm.
Since grade 8. I used to be a rapper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where the
You know what's
that's where the
coming.
pun thing comes from.
Uh,
I loved language, words, and then started producing in grade 9. Remember nagging my mom for because we were using like a Pentium 1, and you
mm,
couldn't do anything on a Pentium 1, right?
yeah, yeah.
And nagging my mom to give me a computer. These are the specs I need. And yeah, man, grade 10 started making beats. So music has always been something close to me. I think when I hung up my media gloves, music also took a back seat a bit. You know what I mean, as far as production is concerned. But I would open up the laptop, lay an idea, just but also there was a disappointment in releasing. You know, music is it's a tough game. I released an album 2012. I think it did terribly. You know, like when you throw a party
Yeah,
and let's say you wanna like make money,
yeah,
but you make a huge loss. But the 10 people who show up at the best time of their lives,
yeah.
and they're like, when are you gonna drop another one? It was like that with my album. You know, those people who
Whoa.
got it super loved it. Till today, I could tag people playing it in their cars, wherever.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It was very niche. I don't know why I also had expectations of it being something big, but I had those expectations because I put in everything into that album. And when the reception was cold, it kills you, man. Especially when you put so much effort into something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And you don't doubt your talent. You know you're good. You know you know you can do this thing. So that was also partly the reason why I was very uninspired, to make music and stuff. But yeah, um, I'm dropping definitely a few tracks, maybe a project. We'll see how it works. But it's a different time now, right?
it is.
With my piano and all.
Yeah.
Those guys, Maporisa and them, they just dropped 5 albums in one week. You know what I mean? So the whole
Yeah,
model of I'm gonna drop a single or two or three, I might as well just drop a whole project,
yeah.
and see how it goes, because it's different times, bro.
It is. It is.
Yeah, like your song's hot for 3 months, people forget about it, and then it almost becomes niche because now only 5 people remain playing it, even
Yeah.
though 3 months ago the whole country was. So, yeah, bro. Music. I love music, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Look, take me. Let's talk a bit about the album that you dropped. Is it still available, and can people still kind of like
yeah. On all platforms, still available. If you love like a fusion of it, tribal, new jazz, loungy, but up tempo, it's for you. If you love good music and good house music, it's not bubblegum. It's not, yeah, back then. But I think I've learned so much about the game and how it really works. Because sometimes in order to do that kind of sound and get a following, you need to be patient and
Yeah.
very consistent. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes there's no time, right? So yeah, bro, that's pretty much the sound. It's Sol Phenduka, self-titled. It's still out there,
Yeah.
iTunes, everywhere else, Apple Music, everywhere.
So a lot, like thinking about that time and where the music, that type of music, is at now. One would argue that it's popular now. We see a lot of tribal producers from back then are now producing Afro tech, and one of the biggest songs right now is Osama. So
Actually,
yeah, So now my question is like, now what is the new sound for Sol Penduga? Like, are you also doing piano? Are you also
I'll do my piano. Like one thing about me, which I've always said, even when like Trouble was big, right? It sounded a certain way, and then when I dropped my track, and to be honest, it influenced other tracks, like especially the drum pattern. So I will drop a piano, but my way. I will drop Afro tech because even some of the songs, bro, like old songs and remixes that I made, and I listen to them now, I'm like, damn, this is almost Afro tracky. I won't mention. I won't mention the name, but I remember trying to get in the music thing, and I sent out a song, from to this label which was making like nice music, and the producer, the manager who had emailed, who was the NR guy and the artist manager,
Yeah.
sent me an email, a response, and they said, "Yeah, just make it a bit more soulful." And that label now does Afro tech, and that sound that I had given to them was also very tech, like techy,
Oh, I
not
see.
tacky, but techy, like
Yeah. Yeah.
tech-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an irony, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That the very same label that's Afro Tech now, which a lot of times has traces of soul, but it's not like you can't say it's soulful house, you know? So yeah, times have changed, but I think I'd easily adapt into that sound. And even like I said, piano my way, because I mean, you look at these songs now, like
Yeah.
Asibe Happy, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's very different from other like hardcore piano song. You know, there's so
Yeah.
much depth within piano. You can do the street fuck shit up, bash music, filthy, dirty lyrics,
Yeah.
or you could do the whole soulful thing, but still within my piano, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's room to play in that space as well.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. They said I shouldn't, make this interview
Now you
too
can, we
long.
can go long. It's
Oh,
fine.
we can talk.
Yeah, I'm here for the next hour, but I know
Yeah.
you need to talk to Mac as well. But if
Yeah.
it's music, we can talk, bro. Like,
I mean, like that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
exactly, exactly.
So, like back in the day, I mean, you used to be at Y at some point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then at Y, that's when I first heard that you're also a DJ, and then now you're in a different space where now you are online, but the you know the business model has kind of like shifted online where you can do content online and still be a DJ, where like before you had to be on radio and still do music. I don't know if I'm making sense. So now,
I get where you're going.
yeah, yeah. So now my question is like, you being at the forefront, I feel, where like, I mean, I've never seen before, correct me if I'm wrong, whereby you get someone who's a a broadcaster online, and now is also like gigging and DJing. So where do you think like that's where it's going? Am I right by predicting that? I think moving forward, instead of like being a guy on radio that gigs during
You need to
weekends,
be on a radar to get gigs.
yeah, like
I,
yeah,
I think it still helps, but also I think it's about branding yourself. Like for example, a lot of people in inbox, like management, and they're like, people know he's a podcast. He does this, but we don't know that he DJs. Especially the new generation. So you need to brand yourself and put yourself out there, more of your work.
yeah,
Be it a video, be it like if you're at a gig and you actually put that shit up. You know what I mean? But I think it does work because the reason guys on radio were getting gigs, it's not really because they're on radio. It's because they've got the exposure.
yeah,
Everybody knows their names and they play music, right?
yeah,
So with podcasting, it's slightly more challenging because you don't play music,
yeah. That's
right?
true. Yeah,
You just talk, which is, if we're being honest, is what the guys on the radio are also doing.
yeah,
Because the music is playlisted, their job is to talk in between the music.
yeah,
So when you don't have that music, people are like, but how do we know that he actually does? So I think like when you release music, for example, then, because being a producer is synonymous with being a DJ, right? So
yeah,
when you drop music, then people are like, oh, okay, so you can DJ, especially if you play house, or you make house, you produce house, or dance music, my piano, Afrotech. So I think it's slightly more challenging being a podcaster, but fortunately, I'm a producer. So when you start dropping music, the expectation to DJ is there. And if you're already a DJ, then people won't get surprised when you DJ.
I was gonna ask you like with collaborations, because you actually didn't touch on collaborations. Yo, I forgot. God, I need to have the mic on me as well. Um, yeah. Uh, Tell me about collaborations. Like who are you working with? Are you collaborating with like vocalists or other producers? Like, what's your vibe, or is it just like Sol, like just you
Now
alone?
there's a couple of young cats, that have reached out to me. I'm very skeptical of working with producers because I'm a bit old school. This whole thing of getting guys to produce your music and then you say it's yours. hey, or there's like 20 names on a song and you don't know who did what, who produced
Yeah,
who.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
did this guy program the drums? Did this one just program the shaker with their mouth? And then someone programmed it, they just composed it. Did this one sing? Did this one write the lyrics? What did this one do? You know, it's murky waters.
Yeah.
But that's the game now, right? So, and I've had some young cats that have been having some, not studio sessions really, because we have it's just them sending me music, listening to it, be like, okay, I could do something on this, because I don't want it to just be, I didn't produce shit, but I'm saying I did. I'm not that kind of person, like, you know,
Yeah.
especially when you can produce. But especially with my first album, I produced it by myself, the entire thing. And you realize that maybe that's also partly why it flopped. Maybe you must collaborate with people, you know? No matter sometimes, no matter how good you are, but you don't want to sound monotonous.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to sound monotonous, especially if maybe, for example, your music theory is limited. You know, it's always nice to bring someone in who can add more depth to the sound, the texture of the song. So I'm open to that. So yeah, that's definitely something I'll be doing, collaborating more.
Okay, yeah, no, cool, man. Looking forward to the music, brother. I also wanted to find out, like, you guys, you had a gig in Cape Town, right? Did you
Yeah.
play? How was that like, get, play? Cause okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you've been playing, but I know sometimes as a DJ coming back to DJing after you haven't been playing in a while, especially playing for like a crowd, a big crowd. How was it like? Were you rusty or did you just did you feel natural and you rocked it?
Now I'm rusty, bro. I mean, it's Mac who mostly played. I was on the mic because it was mainly chillers who wanted to come see us, you know. So that's how it went down there. So I was mostly on the mic. Mac played because I was like, "Hey, which one is this one?" You know, I'm a bit rusty. I was like, "Hey, I'm a
Yeah,
bit rusty, man." You know.
sure.
And also, I mean, you gotta take your name serious. You can't just do shit, especially in the age of social media. You don't want to be that guy. They will recorded you and whatnot. So yeah, for that one, I was like, nah, you know. Yeah. So that's how it was there. I was like, nah, just rock. And he was flowing. I didn't want to also,
Yeah,
because also now understand you with someone else and
yeah.
whatever happens gonna be like it's Mac and Sol. You know, this
Mm.
happened. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I was mainly on the mic.
Okay. I know. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it. And we're looking forward to more stuff from you guys. And yeah, good luck with the podcast. Good luck with the music. And yeah, man. Anything else that you want to put out there?
Nah, just keep supporting the podcast. Check out my music dropping definitely in Feb next year. My music and yeah, man. I mean, check out my Twitter, Insta, anything that I'll be doing. I'll always post there. If I'm dropping a product, always, because you don't know how long the run will last for. So you always want to have something that lives outside of the podcast. In case one day something terribly happens to the podcast, we upload an episode and it gets 10 views all of a sudden, right? And you're like, fuck, we had this ride, I did nothing with it. So yeah, man, be on the lookout for my socials because there's a lot of great, exciting things that we working on as far as products, and offerings for people outside of podcasting and outside of music.
I know. Danko Baba.
Cool, bro.